LRBAquatics.com. Hello world, how's it going? Hope you guys are all doing great. So I got the lights off so we can better film this tank and better see the fish. So I hope you guys are all doing great. Today we're going to talk about the orange fin hill trout, the Barilius Ardens. So let's go ahead and swing you back over to the fish. So here's the tank setup I got them in. I've got a group of about 10 of them and a 125 long with about 15 mascara barbs, I don't know, 20 dwarf neon rainbow fish. And those are the Dockensea similis barbs. We'll talk about them a little bit too because they kind of go in together with this video. And then there's some cherry barbs around and some plecos and blue gobies swimming somewhere. But the fish we're talking about today are these. These are the orange Fin Hill Trout, the Barilius Ardens. Very, very beautiful fish. It's a little different than a lot of the ornamental fish. It's not a solid color, got a lot of pattern and character to it. Really, really enjoy it. It does look like a little miniature trout. And of course, that's why they call them that. But hello everybody in the chat. Glad to see y'all in here, and thanks for joining me and watching, everybody. Well, yes, very neat fish. And as far as where it comes from India, the Western Ghat Mountains and streams and whatnot around there, southwestern India, which these fish, the mascara barbs, the Dockensea similis, actually live in the same waters, which is pretty cool. So they are naturally together in the wild, so they do get along really well, so they make great tank mates. I didn't really know that when I bought them, and kind of found that out later, and it worked out really well. Somebody actually sent me a video of a documentary clip that showed these guys out in the wild together too, which was really neat. And I wish I could remember who sent that to me, because that was really, really cool to actually see them in the wild. But they are both barbs, so they're in the cyprinid classification. Same with the Dockensea similis. And as far as their habitat, it's usually like streams, pebbles, boulders, flat bedrock, fast flowing water, lots of oxygenation. It's not absolutely needed, but it definitely helps. Some sources online will say you'll need to keep them in absolute pristine water, this, that, and the other, and I find that to be the complete opposite. I tried to do too big of a water change on their tank one time when they were in QT, and they did not like it. So they do like the old dirty tank. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat meowing, but he's about to go crazy. He must hear me in here. I'm gonna have to let Sparky in here here in a bit. But as far as their full size, they get about 4 inches. So I don't know, they maybe have they have a little growing to do, but not a whole lot. Now they are kind of aggressive, not real aggressive, semi-aggressive, I would say. You don't want them with like real tiny nano fish, but I did have them with like the twin eye danios. I had them with the chopre danios. They did all right with those. They're doing all right with these dwarf neons. There was a little hierarchy battle this morning because I actually just put them in here last night, and they got out of QT. And there's a little bit going on between the dwarf neons, but the dwarf neons are pretty bullheaded for the size of fish they are, so they stood their ground. Everybody, like the dwarf neons, will breed like crazy all throughout the morning in this plant, and it's just snacks for everybody. It's really cool to watch. And as far as tank space, I probably wouldn't keep them in anything less than a 55 or 75 or above, because they do like space to swim. They do need space. They're a little boisterous, but not too boisterous. As you can see, they're not getting too crazy, but absolutely beautiful fish. Very, very cool fish. And I think it really complements these dwarf neons really well. Same with the mascara barbs. Like all the colors and patterns and stuff kind of mimic and go really well together. But yeah, I'm really enjoying them. And finally glad to get them out of QT and actually get them in here, which is really cool. And I guess the females are a little chunkier, and I think the higher up males get more of the orange, but it seems like a lot of them have the orange in them. Like pretty much every one of them has orange in them, but I'm thinking like that may be a female there. And like the more slender ones are the males. And yeah, pretty cool fish. And there had not a whole lot of braiding information on them. I have seen a place mention cold water can help trigger it, but no successful fry yet. So I don't know about that. I would probably guess just try to mimic the biotope as much as possible with lots of oxygenation and streaming water and rock pile. But the thing you'd probably have to do is collect the eggs into somewhere where the current wasn't so crazy, because I'm sure the babies and eggs may have a better chance in some slower water. I could be wrong, because Mother Nature and fish is pretty wild, and there are babies who can handle those crazy fast streams, but that's not always the case. A lot of times some fish like that, they'll scatter their eggs, but then their eggs will go settle in like a calmer spot, and then that's usually a better spot for the eggs to hatch, is in the calmer edge of like the creek's bed, you know, instead of like right in the middle of the turbulence. And that's probably why they spread a lot of their eggs out, egg scatter them, you know, so they do go along with the current. Do they need heat? So as far as temperature, I've been keeping them in the mid-70s. I'm sure upstairs in the QT, our AC doesn't work right, just because I don't have money to mess with the thermostat quite yet. One day I'll get there. But it does get chilly, so I gotta unplug my AC. It's either on or it's off through the main fuse, so some nights it'll get super chilly. So I know the tanks has gone like down into the low 70s at least, and I'm sure up in the 80s. And they shoal all right. They do kind of stay together, and having them in there I think helps keep the mascara barbs schooling more. These mascara barbs will get in a nice night tight school. It's really cool. I kind of wish I had something tall in the middle, so I would think they may circle it. I don't know. I may try that here sometime in the future and see if they'll do that. I love when fish start circling ornaments. It's really awesome to watch. But yeah, I thought it was a really cool fish and thought I'd share with you guys. Of course, I've been feeding them the tetracolor tropical granules. And yeah, anybody got any last questions about this? If not, I always got the Friday Q&As, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all other questions. I try to get all of my comments, but when I have events during the weekend, it really gets hard for me to get to the comments. Oh yeah, I was going to feed these guys for you too, because it is really, really fun to feed these guys. No, I don't ship to Canada, unfortunately. Do you feed your shrimp anything other than tetracolor tropical granules? I don't. Awesome, Michael Ransom. Glad to hear you. What type of tank is best for mascara? Definitely a bigger tank. I probably want to go under a 75 or a 125 for those guys. All right, so let's go ahead and feed these guys, because they're just fun to watch eat. Yeah, I just love. See, I actually sit right over here and do a lot of my office work. So this is one of the tanks I get to see a lot, which is nice. Oh yeah. Now they're gonna go in a frenzy. Yum, 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 yum. You can see how fast they move. It took me over an hour to catch them out of the QT, which was a 125 high. Look, that food didn't last at all. And that's another reason why you got to be careful with the tank mates you choose. So if you got any slow feeders, it may be hard to feed the slow feeders, because these guys do frenzy like crazy. get in on that action. Hard to get into because that's all spread out. But yeah, it was crazy trying to catch these guys. I actually had my girlfriend on one side trying to scare them all over to my other side so I could trap them and whatnot. Right before I got on here, I just threw a couple in there and they about went nuts. They didn't know what to do. I'm sure they could eat all day long. Feeding frenzy. I just hope my cherry barbs are able to get something to eat. I'm sure there's a lot to scavenge off the leaves too. I'm gonna have to throw a lot on here actually. Let me just throw a ton in here, see what happens. See if that hits the bottom. Ooh, one about got close. Oh, yep, made it to the bottom. Alright, scroll through these questions real quick. So I usually feed them once a day. I wish I could feed them twice a day. Sometimes I'll feed them twice a day. Is breeding your primary job? Because I'm going to try to get into it also. Yeah, when it comes into breeding fish, especially as a primary job, that's not like all your primary jobs. There's so much that goes with it. But I definitely do recommend it. It's an adventure, it's an experience, and it can be really, really fun. Oh, I think I fed them enough. I didn't even think that was possible. Well, I guess it is possible. Good thing I got a bunch of Plecos. I think I got like 2 or 3 bristlenose in there that'll clean up anything they don't eat. There's a the cherry barbs back there. Oh, here comes a little cleanup crew of bristlenose. They're all over on it. They're like, nom 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 nom. Any new breeding projects you are planning? Oh yeah, quite a few. It's just getting to them. This month, the rest of this month and October is a very big month for events and stuff for me. So that's kind of going to be the focus here, is just trying to get that stuff done. And then here in December, during the winter time, we'll get into all kinds of shenanigans with breeding fish and whatnot. And I'll be trying to do things in between, just like I did with those panda betta babies. Alright, we'll have to leave all these questions for the Friday Q&A, or throw them in the comments below. I will try my best to get to them. I can't promise I'll get to them, but maybe somebody else in the comments will be able to help you out. But alright, I gotta keep this short so it'll save in HD and all that stuff. If I go too long, it won't do that. And yes, I hope you guys all liked and enjoyed, and maybe share this, subscribe if you haven't. And till next time, everybody, peace. Hope you have a good one, and thanks for hanging out.